Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Fresh Friday. I am your host, Emma, and I am joined again by the lovely producer. Hello, producer.
It's Fresh Fright Fridays, baby.
Yay, baby. Allie is really sad that she can't make this one, but I'm going to be honest, guys. She just doesn't have a movie membership like we do, so we just be seeing a lot more movies recently.
Oops.
But we'll forgive her. She's there when it matters.
Yeah, oopsie daisy. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. But you guys, we have a really exciting Fresh Fright for you today. And this is another episode brought to you in October because we promised you guys we were going to be putting out at least an episode every week in the month of October. So it's actually fucking crazy that it is almost Halloween next week. Almost a week from when this is coming out, actually. So
I feel like this month flies by every single year.
no, it does. And it makes me really depressed because, I mean, let's be real. We kind of celebrate it all year round. And then we start really getting in the spirit. I would say I probably start really celebrating in July.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when Midsummer Scream comes around, I'm like, yep, we're full on spooky season.
We have a black Christmas tree that went up August 1st.
Yep. It's my favorite. It's my Halloween Christmas tree and I love it so much.
Yeah, the decor went out and the vibes started very soon.
Well, and the vibes in our office are always spooky. That we can say. That decor is year round. But we have a very exciting Fresh Fright for you guys today. So we are reviewing or doing a little mini review of Black Phone 2. And then just because we like to give you guys some extra nuggets where we can, we're also going to end the episode with a couple of just my thoughts overall on Coyotes, which we recently saw, and also Bone Lake too. So those were kind of two more recent ones that we didn't really have plans on seeing, but they sort of just fell into our laps and happened. So definitely want to talk about those ones a little bit too.
In other words, Boner Lake.
Boner Lake. I love it. And that's an appropriate nickname for it.
Oh,
so
yeah, it was very on par.
I like it. All right.
Before we dive in, what were your thoughts on... Well, actually, what's kind of funny is the first one was the Black Phone. And then the other one was just Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
Drop the just. But what were your thoughts on the Black Phone, the original?
Okay, this is actually a great question because I only saw it for the very first time just recently with you. Didn't we both just see it for the first time? Or you had seen it?
No, I had seen it before.
Okay.
I mean, I have conflicting thoughts about the first one, but it was still worth a watch. That's what I was making sure. You still need to see it. It's conflicting me because it's like visually good, acting good, plot
has some holes.
There's some holes and it's a little distracting, but it's kind of just the way it's all put together. It makes it still worth a watch, in my opinion.
Totally. No, I fully agree. And so the first one for me, I thought was very entertaining. I love Ethan Hawke. Normally, I'm not seeing him in a villain or antagonist role.
Because I think he actually didn't want to be a villain.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Kind of like Nicolas Cage in a way.
Yeah.
Where Nicolas Cage in Longlegs wasn't a fan of being a villain, which is why you never really see their entire face a whole lot. But he absolutely crushed it.
Oh, he did so good. And I'm sorry if this sounds thirsty, but I kind of don't give a shit. But that scene where he's sitting in the kitchen with his shirt off, looking
holding a belt,
but ripped as fuck,
absolutely
with just his
yoked
mask on. I was like, hello?
Yes.
I had a visceral reaction.
He was ready to hand out punishments.
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
And all the ladies were like, "Yes, please."
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it there. But I really enjoyed it because the first one, actually, and the second one, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit more, but gave me Sinister vibes because it's the same director, and also Ethan Hawke. You guys know we did a full length episode on Sinister. That movie to this day is one of the only films that really scares me. There's a lot out there that have their nice jump scares. And of course, I'm going to be a little bit on edge maybe when I'm watching them. But damn, Sinister. Yeah, that one for me. And to feel like the Black Phone and Black Phone 2 even are related, it made me happy. Mm. But my overall thoughts on the Black Phone, you guys remember that follows a young boy named Finney and his younger sister. She has this sort of
She's almost like a medium. She almost like has
Yeah.
premonitions in her dreams, I think.
Yeah, and her dreams just are really telling. They help her to identify things. It's not even all the time like seeing the future or anything. It's just they kind of give her clues into like things that people don't know. So it's really cool. And a little bit through her and a little bit through Finney, they are both able to kind of catch this evil guy called the Grabber who has been taking children, specifically young boys, in like their little town in the 70s. I really, really liked it a lot. And I loved the introduction to the two characters like Finney and Gwen. I fucking love Gwen. And I'm going to get into that in Black Phone 2 as well. But I really enjoyed it. There were some plot holes, 1000%.
Yeah, it was just a lot of decisions that were made where it could have been really rounded out better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The fact that the Grabber is a magician, I don't know why we didn't dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah,
like
I
the
know.
only true evidence to him being a magician is his van.
Mm-hmm. And the balloons, I guess.
And the balloons, yeah. And I guess the balloons are his calling card or something. But it's just the plot. I had a lot of whys, like a lot of questions like why? And we don't need all of it answered all the time. But I felt like there was a couple that needed to be addressed a little bit. Like, why is Finney the only one, aside from the Grabber, the only two that can get these calls?
The phone calls,
They can hear the phone ringing.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I mean, I guess I don't need a backstory on the Grabber, but his personality is almost caring, almost nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this rooted in? And why is his brother, he's a little coked out, but why is his brother so
important to him and
important,
like,
but so normal? And what makes the Grabber different?
Yeah.
I guess the supernatural aspect of it, I was a little confused, but somehow still left satisfied, I guess. I think visually, once again, acting, fantastic. The way it all came together in the end was cool. And my favorite part was that Gwen's premonitions truly served no purpose in the end.
I knew you were going to say that.
The fact that her premonitions helped find the other kids.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And Finney did the rest. So it kind of it was like, oh, cool. So that was all technically sort of pointless because they would have figured it out anyway.
True. But I will say that I think it was because it was almost kind of happening in parallel. Like, we just don't know, right? Like, if Finney didn't get out, my thought process was, okay, they would have raided that house across the street and they would have found the bodies, right, of some of the other kids. But where's Finney still? Like, Finney is still missing. And I feel like the natural next step for like cops or anything would be to start like asking around the neighborhood or what have you. And so it may have come to light later, like, oh, he also owns this house right across the street. I feel like they would have maybe eventually found Finney, but you're right. We were also up against like a timeline too. He wasn't going to live forever. The Grabber was planning on killing him eventually. I totally get the plot hole there. And I actually was going to say, can I tell you my interpretation of why like the Grabber, Finney, and Gwen kind of all have access to this like supernaturalness? My interpretation was for Gwen and Finney specifically, they get it from their mom. I think Gwen has it a lot stronger just as a woman, as a feminine figure. She is mirroring almost exactly the same thing that her mom had. Finney, though, I mean, he's still her blood. I think he doesn't necessarily have it all the time, but
maybe he's not tapped in.
Yeah, I think because of his mom and because of Gwen, he was able to quote unquote tap in for this instance. And these kids were able to reach out to him. It's almost like, is it Halloween Town? Marnie has her powers, but like the brother or the little sister or something, they like realize they have powers, but it's not till later. I wonder. Yeah. And then I wonder also if the Grabber, just also totally separate, has some sort of thing going on with him.
Well, he must.
Like, yeah.
That's what I mean. Is it like some kind of, I mean, maybe
we just don't know what it is.
Maybe not demonic, but because in regards to Black Phone 2, he quote unquote, not physically, but spiritually comes back.
Yeah.
So what makes him special? What makes him different? What gives him what makes him the modern day Freddy Krueger, which is essentially what he is.
Yeah. He made a deal with the devil. Well, so let's get into Black Phone 2 now. This came out very, very recently. So just, I think like a week and a half ago,
That's what makes it fresh.
That's what makes it fresh, baby. It came out in the US on October 17th. And it is the official sequel to The Black Phone, which obviously like raised some expectations and stakes just because of the success of The Black Phone.
I don't think anyone saw it coming, to be honest with you.
No, totally. The general premise of Black Phone 2 is that 4 years after Finn, he's now like a grown-up teenager, after his
smoking pot and getting in fights.
Yeah. After his escape 4 years prior, he's now 17. He's still living with that trauma of surviving the grabber. And his younger sister, Gwen, who's 15, she is beginning to experience some haunting dreams again, kind of related to the grabber, and calls on like the quote unquote black phone. And this leads her visions and dreams, like lead her to a very snowy winter camp called Alpine Lake, where there's like a Christian camp. And together, her, Finney, and then another character, they all travel to the camp to try to investigate why Gwen is having these visions. It's all a little bit connected to her mother too as well, which is, I thought was really cool that they made that connection back.
Because I feel like they kind of made it a big deal about her mom in the beginning, but never really tapped into it.
Exactly.
So it is good that we got a lot more.
We got a lot of
backstory
answers.
out of that.
Yeah. While they're there, they get trapped into this huge blizzard and no one is really allowed to leave. They have to spend a few nights at this camp, but it also kind of works out in their favor in a way because they're able to get some answers. Ultimately, I'm not going to give you guys too many spoilers, but kind of close out that chapter of the grabber. They're able to understand a little bit more of why Gwen was having these visions. And to your point, at least shoo off Mr. New Generation Freddy Krueger, at least for a little while.
And he kept his shirt on the whole time.
God damn it.
But he was on hockey skates, so that's fun.
That was kind of hot.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. Like
Yeah.
him hockey skating at me.
Hockey skating, not holding a hockey stick, holding
Holding an axe. Honestly, kind of iconic.
Yeah. Is that the new? Is that his new thing? He's just a hockey skating killer with an axe. Why I need a whole thing of just that. He only attacks on ice. He's always on skates and he always holds an axe.
And I want it on a loop.
Just over and over
Yeah.
again.
Speaking of the hockey skates, the ice, the snow, this like Alpine Lake, I loved the setting.
It was a
of
really
this
good
film.
setting. Yeah.
The setting was fantastic.
They did a good job making it very secluded also.
Yeah. And like just, oh God, guys, as horror fans, we always love a fucking camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just loved that not a lot of people were at this camp. It wasn't fully functioning just yet. It was kind of just like some of the staff members and then Finn, his sister, and this other character that was a friend of theirs that they brought along, Ernie. I just like really loved it. I loved the setting. I loved that there was a phone booth
Versus the black phone.
I liked it.
I really like that too, especially obviously I know this is technically set in the past where phone booths really aren't a thing anymore. But the fact that it was a phone booth for some reason, I really liked that touch versus this random ass black phone in a concrete room.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, where this, because you can see all this in the trailer, but where this phone booth is, it's right on the edge of this snowy, iced out lake.
Yep.
And kind of just tapping more into that setting was, I don't know, it was really cool. I definitely did like that aspect.
Yeah.
But what was your opinion on the character of the grabber from the first one versus the second one?
That's a good question. Obviously, he's way more there in the first one because he's physically alive in the first one. He is a very important factor. He is still carrying out all of these horrible, horrible things. And he's doing it with no backup of supernatural force. Like he's just doing them out in broad daylight, well, broad nightlight. And we definitely see a lot less of him in Black Phone 2. However, and I know you're probably going to love this or hate it. I actually don't know. We haven't talked about it yet. I loved that most of the time that we were seeing the grabber in Black Phone 2 was when there was some sort of dream sequence going on within Gwen's head, or we were getting some answers into like a flashback or something. And they totally changed up how they filmed these sequences, which I thought was awesome. And it definitely gave me Sinister vibes. It felt like on film.
Yeah. There was a little bit of that in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little touch. The second one, in my opinion, I feel like they kind of
It was a little heavy.
We could tell if it was a dream sequence just because it seemed like it was like an old style film, an old Super 8 or something. But I felt like they kind of overdid it where it was, I don't really know how to describe it, but it would just be normally shot and then suddenly they would transition to a different shot from a different angle that looked like it was filmed on Super 8, then back to normal, then back to this
It was
filming.
it was jarring at times.
Yeah, it was just kind of like I felt like we could have used it sparingly to a higher effect than kind of overdoing it. I felt like that was something that people liked in the first, and they're like, let's give the people what they want. But I just felt like it was maybe a little too much.
Not to make another comparison back to Sinister, but I'm gonna. That was actually one of the things that I personally found most frightening about Sinister was the tapes. And not just the tapes, but also the combination of the sound engineering of things happening on tape. And so that to me is what got me the most in Black Phone 2. And I wonder if it's because I had already seen Sinister and my mind maybe subconsciously knows I'm sort of scared of that style in a way. And so to me, I found it very effective and I really liked it.
No, totally. And that's what I'm saying. It's something that everyone really liked in the first. And they're kind of like, let's just fucking just.
Yeah, let's fucking keep doing it.
But kind of going back to like the grabber.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really answer your question, I guess. But
no, it's something that I mentioned kind of in the beginning was the most unsettling thing about the grabber was he almost seemed caring. He seemed like when he's talking to Finney.
Like he could easily manipulate you.
Then in Black Phone 2, we never saw that again. And now suddenly he went full Freddy Krueger and he's just hell-bent on revenge the entire time. I get that part of the grabber's dead. We can't go back to that because now we're dealing with a spirit essentially. But for some reason, it was suddenly less threatening to me now that it was just a revenge plot. We just watched the Monsters with Ed Gein. The most unsettling thing about him was
that he doesn't seem like a monster.
He seems like a very kind, generous human being. And I think that's what makes things creepy. So now that it's, I'm saying full Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Krueger's his entire storyline is revenge, essentially. I felt like it was kind of just mostly that. And for some reason, the unsettling part was kind of gone away from that character.
Can I offer an alternative point of view?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're here.
I like
Why
this.
not?
This is good discussion. I felt in a way that it was more anxiety inducing and a little bit more. Yes, he has taken off the mask essentially, and he has like shown us his true colors, because in the first film, it did feel, like he was like maybe this nice person, or maybe he did have a good bone in his body. Like, how did he get like this? How did he get to doing what he was doing? But I think in the first one too, you just know because of what he has committed and how weirdly positive he still is. It's like, there's something fucked up in the head with this man, where I think it is almost scarier in Black Phone 2 because he has nothing to hide behind. He is now his true self in like true form.
That's very true.
And it's like, oh, this guy actually was not what you ever thought he was. And even this version of him might not even be his real self. He just flipped on a dime and he dropped that. And yes, hell-bent on revenge, totally. Was like, Finney, you killed me, like you killed my brother, you're gonna pay,
Imagine blaming him for you made me. I'm mad at you because you made me kill my brother.
Put an axe in my brother's brain. Cool. It's like, ooh, the curtain has dropped and like there is no more.
It's no longer a game. I think because that's what it was. A lot of it, it's a game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
there's no more Mr. Nice Guy even pretending. Like he's like, nope, I'm not doing this for you, which it felt to me more anxiety inducing because it felt like now all bets are kind of off. You can't play along with his game because there's no game. He's got nothing to lose, which almost makes it scarier because he will do whatever to take him down.
Yeah. The whole like supernatural aspect is he's able to somehow affect the physical world.
Yeah.
And then there's that plot armor behind it. The majority of the film, you can't affect him because he's a spirit.
Yeah.
So now it's
like, what do you do?
Yeah. And then now it suddenly went from a supernatural kidnap-esque to now it's almost like watching The Conjuring.
Yeah.
In a way.
No, totally. I think something that does like work for it is because of everything that they went through, we're dealing with the same characters from the first film. We're seeing that trauma in real life kind of grow up as they are growing up. And we have trauma and like survival aftermath. And you can tell that Finney is not only going through just the general trauma that he experienced in the first film, but he's also got probably some survivor's guilt too as well, just from all of those boys that he couldn't save. Even though Gwen was very instrumental in helping find those boys' bodies and lay them to rest, it still didn't save their lives at the end of the day. And one of them was like one of his good friends, which is like heartbreaking.
I did really like Finney's character arc from the first going into the second, and then his character arc throughout the second.
Same.
I do really feel like his character was written really, really well. I would have liked to see more of a character arc in Gwen. I felt like in the first one, it was kind of the same. And then I felt like we got the same person in the second one. But I will say is nobody has had better comeback one-liners than Gwen. I can't even, honestly, I can't even remember any of them because every single one was so unique and so fucking funny. I love her character's like personality.
Yeah.
Then she just will just spit back the best freaking comebacks you will ever hear. And that's a part of her, like her character I really, really liked. But I would have liked this. I don't know. I would have liked to see more. I felt like it started and finished and it was the same person.
Yeah. No, I get that. I will say, however, like she was my favorite and she still continues to be probably because of like the spicy little comeback she has. But I also think that she really drove the central line of the, like she was the central driver in this film this time. And
it's definitely more about her. In the first one's mostly Finney. The second one, I would say, she's definitely the prominent
which
character.
I really liked because even though it probably would have been just as entertaining if we followed Finney again and with the grabber trying to get all this revenge, but it was kind of cool to see it much more like affecting Gwen because there's also, this kind of goes back to some themes of the film too. This goes back to having such a strong tie to family, and like the grabber knows, well, he makes a point to call Finney out and say, you know, Finney, you're the reason that like I had to kill my brother. He's very hurt from that. He's not only
Gaslight 101,
no,
man.
Truly. But the grabber also knows that the most important person to Finney is his sister. The grabber had no idea who Gwen was in the very first film. Had no idea she was seeing these visions, had no idea any of that was leading her to finding things and finding these boys' bodies. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's your sister. I can tell that she's got the shining, so to speak. I can probably get to her through these dreams because she doesn't realize that she can kind of fight back in them. I think that also makes it like extremely terrifying because again, he doesn't have anything to lose, but Finney still does. So it's like, oh, it really like their little dynamic of like brother and sister. And then, oh God, you guys, this is such a side note, but it really, really just my heart coming from a dad who is almost 5 years sober now, like seeing their dad also, I don't know. I think it just really pulled on my heartstrings seeing him wrestle with his addiction when he knew his kids were going to be gone for a little bit at camp. And right when Finney and Gwen leave, Finney says, Dad, please don't get drunk while we're gone, because he's been almost sober for 3 years at this point in the film. And he's scared that if him and his sister aren't around, that his dad might get bored and just kind of like fall back into his own devices. There's a lot of shit that happened in the very, very first film that I don't condone at all, obviously. And
well, he was a deadbeat dad.
He was a deadbeat dad. He was abusive. And it's like you're just rooting for him. And like, even though he has damaged his relationship so much with his kids, he's still trying. And like, you're just rooting for them as like a family. Like they've lost their mom. That's like a whole other story that we could get into, but that would be a lot of spoilers. But their mom's not with them anymore. You know, their dad has been a deadbeat dad for a long time as a result of the mom dying. And it's just, oh, you just want them to win so bad. So like, to me, oh, that just like pulled at my heartstrings.
Yeah,
Daggers.
You want them to be happy.
Yeah.
And I do got to give a lot of credit to the writers for, because it would have been so easy to just be like, nope, he still sucks.
No, literally.
Here's some more turmoil, motherfuckers.
Or he could have just been in it and been fucking pointless. But I do think that it helped drive some of just like the overall like emotional roller coaster that the filmmakers wanted you to go on.
They have someone at home that cares about them. In the first one, all they had were each other, you know, brother and sister. But now they have...
They've kind of all survived this trauma together, multiple traumas in their life in different ways. And it's like they're just trying to make it through.
Yeah.
Another thing that you actually mentioned earlier when we were just starting this review too is I think you talked about the setting being like isolating too. And that's like one thing I wrote down in my notes for just overall themes and like tone was just the isolation and eerie environment. Again, going back to how much I love the setting of it being in this like snowy alpine lake. It's just all like kind of amplifying that feeling too of being cut off from help. Like, I don't know about you guys. The producer and I and Allie, like we all grew up in Southern California. We don't get a lot of snow. And yet we've gone on vacation in places many times that have like a ton of snow. And I always have this weird fear in the back of my head that we're going to get like stuck and we're going to get stuck in a snowstorm. And people that grow
I've been
up,
there, dude. It's not fun. You think
it's scary.
I remember growing up and hearing about getting snowed in. You're like, oh, that sounds fun.
So
you can have hot cocoa and watch movies. Dude, getting snowed in sucks.
Yeah.
It is not fun. I thought it was cool. And then we got snowed in. And then I realized, wow, I want nothing more than Taco Bell. And I could not get Taco Bell.
Yeah. I think the snowstorm in this film is almost a main character itself.
Oh, yeah.
Also, my last note on kind of themes and tone here, and I promise I'll shut up, is the calls from beyond and like merging it with this like dream state and like reality. I think it all just kind of shows how the line between what's natural and what's supernatural in this film is so blurred. The film just uses that really absurd, like dream logic visuals, again, with like the kind of grainy home video sort of sinister feel to create that unease, which I really enjoyed. Even though you did feel like it was a little heavy at times, like I think it almost put me in like a dream state kind of as well too. I'm like, oh, where am I? Anything could happen, you know?
No, in regards to the dream state, my only qualm was that they were mixing it in undream state moments.
Yeah.
Where before
totally.
it was normally in these, we would see this type of shot and this type of effect in a premonition in a dream of Gwen's.
Yeah.
But now we were kind of just getting it willy-nilly for funsies.
Totally.
I don't know if they wanted it to feel creepy, if they wanted it feeling that it would feel scary. Sometimes there's certain things that I always feel like less is more. I feel like the setting itself and the shots they use, especially the snowstorm and everything, it's always dark for some reason. I felt like that was enough.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But what were your thoughts on, in the first one, it's a lot of the supernatural aspects are through this phone. That's essentially it.
Yes.
Now it's affecting the real world in a way.
I thought it was super effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I kind of mentioned it a little earlier, but like to me, it almost just made it feel like there's no rules. All bets are off. Like, I hate comparing it, but we've already said it a few times, but truly it felt, this is our modern day Freddy Krueger. He is now able to attack people and actually hurt them in their dreams. He's able to sort of break that wall. And I think that's what makes it like really terrifying. And again, I think having just no rules, this is going to sound so obscure, but something I always think about, how effective the Joker was in The Dark Knight, because he did not want anything. He did not want people to die, or like, well,
money and power was not on his priority list.
It was not a motive. Yeah. And that makes him 10 times more terrifying because he is thriving on pure chaos, where I felt like with the grabber, even though he has a motivation of a little bit of revenge, a little bit of...
the first one seemed ritualistic.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes. This one was different. This one was like, I don't really fucking care. I'm going to do what I want to. And anyone who gets in my way, y'all are going to get hurt too. Because he hurt many other people other than just trying to hurt Gwen, you know? So to me, that just felt so like all bets are off. And like, I felt like it was really effective. And this film also is not a normal, even though he's like a killer, it's way more dark and like psychological. It's just way more like nightmare fuel than like a chase kind of situation, which I think can also make it a little bit more scary because he can kind of just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh, that's what I know. I kind of mentioned earlier, the plot armor. How do you combat something that you can't see?
That's terrifying.
Yeah. One of the biggest things you'll be able to see in the trailer is Gwen's in the phone booth, obviously, and somehow she gets cut. And then it switches to a different shot of her flying through the air, getting cut. So like, obviously, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, being able to attack these people in their dreams and affect them in real life.
Yeah.
How do you, like, obviously we know they're going to combat it somehow.
Yeah.
But there was still a mystery to it. And Gwen's still the little investigator that she is. Finney is still mostly helpless, but Gwen is definitely the driving force of the second.
Yeah.
And I think that was definitely a good move.
Totally.
Because I felt like she obviously played a large part in the first, but at the end of the day, her premonitions didn't help Finney at the end.
No, totally. Yeah.
And I loved her character. I loved the personality of her character. And I personally think it was a good move transitioning to her being the prominent
I totally agree.
force
Yeah.
of the second one. I loved all the characters that came back and all the characters that were introduced. I liked the mystery of it. I liked the way it ended. There was a lot of things I liked. There's a lot of things I didn't like. I therefore think if you're listening to this and it's still in theaters, it's definitely worth a watch if you liked the first one.
I kind of disagree. I mean, well, if you hated the first one, you may not love the second one. I really loved it. I loved it more than the first one. I thought it was more frightening in a lot of ways than the first one. I
like that they left the room.
They left the room.
No longer in this room.
Yeah. I just loved the setting. It felt so all encompassing too, seeing it in theaters, just because you're seeing it on this huge screen. So like definitely encourage you to see it in theaters if you haven't already. And I loved how this film also explored what happens after survival.
That's a good point.
This wasn't just about the threat itself, which is what the first film was. This was exploring after. And like, I think, like I mentioned, it's sort of like all bets are off and like shit can still go down and stuff can still be unresolved. And it's like, who knows? Maybe the grabber coming back in Gwen's dreams is all an allegory for the trauma that they've both experienced 4 years prior with Finney being actually taken by the grabber. Like, who knows where this franchise is going to go, if there's even going to be another one. I have no idea. But I will say, if there's another one that comes out, I will for sure go see it.
I have one last question. I had mentioned I was in the first one, I was a little bummed out that they didn't harp more on this magician aspect.
Yes.
What was your opinion on the name, the grabber?
Okay, it's so funny that you say that because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, where did they come up with this name? Like, could they have come up with something cooler? But then
is it one of those names that the cops came up with?
That's what I was just going to say. I think it is more something that the media had given him when these actual kidnappings and killings were going on, or kidnappings, I guess, because they didn't even find the bodies, so they didn't know if these children were dead or alive. Because it's funny because you never hear him call himself the grabber. I don't believe.
He doesn't. I don't remember if he references his.
Yeah, it's like, what's your fucking name, dude?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, what's his. I'm trying to remember what's inside of his van. Did his van just say abracadabra?
It said like abracadabra, like magic magician for hire or something like that.
Yeah, but like, what was that his magician? That's a dumb magician
Hold
name.
on, let me look really quick.
What if like something that was like missing, not like missing, I guess, but because I think he was referenced to him, the grabber. He never corrected anybody.
Yeah.
Like, what if at one point he was like, I'm Magnifico?
Yeah, like, what's your name, bro? Okay, so it literally just says abracadabra, entertainment, and supplies, I think.
It's just a magician phrase.
Yeah, like, what's your fucking name, bro? Who are you? So, yeah.
Like, was he ever actually a magician? Was it just a front? Did he actually do parties?
My personal thought is that it was a front because I think if he did parties and shit, it would have been, especially with the whole black balloon thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the top hat. I know the magician down the street has black balloons and a fucking top hat.
But that's like, he's a magician, so duh, he has a top hat. Of course he has a top hat.
Well, guys, so that is our thoughts on Black Phone 2. I think if you want a horror film that really like blends the emotional stakes with supernatural feelings, this is definitely a good one to watch, and one that you'll likely want to revisit, because I think, at least for me, I want to see it again to just keep picking up like subtle clues that I think were left throughout the movie.
No, I'm definitely going to see it again.
Yeah.
But something that you mentioned last one that our friend Katie Hettenbach had said is every movie's good and every movie's bad. And that's a really, really good point. There's a lot of things I can not like about something, but I can still enjoy it somehow. Mm-hmm. And I think this is definitely one of them. I can be like, that was weird. Not a fan of that. But like, visually, I'm still entertained from start to finish.
Are you not entertained?
Okay, well, Gladiator, settle down.
Sorry.
You gonna go to battle?
Yeah.
There's a wild cow next to you.
I'll take him.
He's got a knife.
He's got a knife. Okay, before we end this episode, can we dive into Coyotes and Bone Lake? Which one do we want to go with first?
So we saw Bone Lake first.
Yeah, let me do that one because it's a little more fresh in my...
If you're an AMC goer, you know they do these things called Screen Unseen, where they do screeners of movies like a couple weeks in advance. You do a fun little survey at the end. Something that's cool is you don't know what movie it is until you're there in the seats and it turns on, which is really fun.
Spooky, but so fun.
Yeah. But what was your overall thoughts on Boner Lake?
Okay, I really liked it. I thought it was fun.
I knew you would.
Guys, you all know I can find something to like about like every fucking horror movie. There's not a lot of horror films that I really don't like unless they have just bored me to death. And I would say that this film did not bore me. It was a little slow in the first half. I will give it that. I was a little bit like, where is this going? Where is this going? But I think it truly did help that we had no expectations because we were going to this film that we didn't even know what was going to be shown.
I never even watched a trailer or anything.
No, I never saw a trailer. I kind of started to see some marketing just around like our friends and stuff, but I never saw what the premise of the film was. I thought it was going to be some kind of cabin thing. So when I found out it was like a little bit different and kind of more about like an Airbnb type situation, I was like, oh, I'm fucking down to see where this goes because someone's going to be batshit crazy in this group of people.
What's funny is what Bone Lake was in regards to like the Airbnb situation was what I thought Barbarian was going to be about. Oh. The way Barbarian started with two people somehow booked in the same Airbnb.
You're like, which one of them's the killer?
Yeah, that's the direction that I thought it was going to go.
Perhaps a MacGuffin?
Perhaps. But Bone Lake, it was the predictable aspect kind of ruined a lot of it for me. Okay. It was really predictable. But I would say the biggest theme of Bone Lake is trust. Do you trust your partner? And the only thing that it was about it was there was just so many stupid, inconspicuous things where this couple was trusting this batshit crazy other couple more than they trusted each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just kind of felt like, I don't know. The red flags were red as shit.
We're flagging.
The red flags were flagging. There was so much stupid shit. But also, it's hard for me to put myself in that situation because never in a million fucking years would I be in it. Oh, we booked the same Airbnb and you don't want to leave?
Bye.
Cool. Find me at the motel down the street.
Yeah.
I'm not,
No, that's true.
I don't know you. You don't know me. But regardless of the predictability, it had a fucking fantastic ending.
For those of you that haven't seen it too, I just want to give like a quick kind of setup of what it is. I know we've already kind of talked about our thoughts a tiny bit, but this couple arrives at a secluded lakeside estate and they discover that it's been double booked. It's obviously very awkward at first. It's like they're trying to figure out what's going on, but they're in a very like secluded place. And so they're just trying to like, one of them is either going to have to leave or not while they wait for the owner to get back to them. And it kind of spirals into this horror game almost of manipulation and things get a little sexual and there's some secrets. Boner Lake. I think though, what really like works for this film is I think it's got that like slow burn of tension, but then that the final acts to me are gruesome and really pay off.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
In my opinion, which is what kind of made it really fun for me. And I even read there was this one reviewer that noted that it feels like a European relationship drama for about an hour before exploding in remarkably bloody chaos, which that to me tells you exactly what it's about. Yeah. Like truly, I like a film that can have very deep thought-provoking themes. In this case, it's like, how much do you trust your partner? Like, how far are you willing to kind of toe the line when your relationship isn't going so well with a stranger? But then there were some parts that were just so fucking ridiculous that I could not help but like laugh out loud, which I loved that kind of. Oh, I love that you can make me think so deeply, but also like laugh my ass off at the same time.
There was too many situations that our main couple could have left, but there were stupid reasons keeping them there.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest reasons where that's why it's hard for me to put myself in a situation because like, no, I sure as shit wouldn't have found myself in it.
I thought it was fun. Like if you really just take it like.
It was fun. Yeah. It definitely was.
If you just kind of take it for like surface level, what it is. I think that the overall setup, you know, is a little slow. And as you get kind of into the third act too, it does get a little bit into like very familiar and predictable kind of slasher territory. But I don't know. I still found it to be really fun, even if it kind of loses that earlier like nuance of the beginning parts of the film. I don't know. I still like enjoyed it. I don't know if it's going to be on my like favorites list by any means. And I don't know when I'll ever watch it again. Yeah. But I did think it was like really entertaining. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did think that it effectively made me feel like it was kind of going one direction and then even though it was kind of predictable, did go into a new direction.
The satisfying ending definitely made the predictability worth it. The end justified the means.
Yes.
I would say.
Totally.
For sure.
Which you'd rather have a movie that does that than one that really fucking disappoints you at the end.
Totally.
Where you're almost pissed off.
Yeah.
So go see Bone Lake. If you want something fun.
But moving on, what was your thoughts of Coyotes? Because I personally didn't even know it was coming out.
Yeah.
I think we were seeing a different movie and it was one of the trailers before the movie. And I was like, I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah. I heard about it a little bit because of people that were going to Fantastic Fest. And I want to go to Fantastic Fest next year. So I'm putting that out there in the universe that we can get tickets or something because I would love to go. And I like stalking the lineup before these like film festivals. And I saw it on there. But it's one of those things I just clocked, but then did not realize that this was from two of my favorite humans in the entire world, which is our Scream King, Justin Long. And you know what? A Scream Queen in her own right, Kate Bosworth. And if you know me really deeply, I used to surf when I was younger and I was obsessed with Blue Crush and I used to watch it every single day before school.
Legendary movie.
So if anyone wants to get some blueberry waffles with whipped cream, happy to do that anytime. But I fucking love Kate Bosworth. Anyways, so this film, Coyotes, because this one's a little, in my opinion, maybe a little more obscure. It only even had like a couple showings when we were trying to go and see it when it first came out. But it's about Kate Bosworth and Justin Long are a married couple. They have a preteen teenage daughter and they live in the Hollywood Hills and they're finding themselves kind of besieged by a pack of really violent coyotes. And there are some mixed themes of like, if you are in the Southern California area, or actually really anywhere in California, we have really terrible wildfires too. And so there have been some crazy ones that ravaged through LA this year and last year, and they were devastating. So this film, I think, kind of plays on that a little bit too as well. And they use it in a way to explain the weird behavior of the coyotes because wildfires just naturally can cause animals to do things that they normally wouldn't do because if their habitats are burnt down or they're being pushed by development of like new properties and buildings and stuff, they have to sometimes find like new areas to eat or this or that. So anyways, all of that to say, this Hollywood Hills family is being sort of stalked by these coyotes.
Because you think it's like coyotes, so what? But like in Southern California, dude, coyotes are everywhere.
They're everywhere. And they're not usually super scary. They're pretty small. They're usually pretty scrawny. But I will say,
swift kick. If you got little pups, they are in danger.
Or cats or like, okay, can I tell a really quick side story?
Everyone has a coyote story.
Truly, I lived in an area that was definitely not rural by any means. Like I would walk up this residential hill, houses everywhere, very suburban. And one time I'm walking Cowboy and I'm in the middle of the day and I see a woman across the street from me on the sidewalk walking her dog. And I see a little animal kind of behind her and her dog. And she has her headphones in. And I'm like, oh, that's like weird. Like is that their dog? I get closer to her and I see that it's a fucking coyote stalking her and her dog. And she has a big dog, by the way. It is not a small dog. This coyote did not care. He was not scared. And so I had to like flag her down. She had her headphones on. So I'm like waving my arms and I'm like, hey, I'm like, be careful. There's like a coyote right behind you stalking you guys. Basically, he's like following you. And she was able to turn around, able to scare him off into like some nearby bushes. But that was crazy. Like that guy had no fear.
I feel like they travel in packs. It's very rare to see one by themselves.
Yeah.
Because I know the place I used to live in kind of.
Oh, yeah. You had a lot too.
Because I lived along a hill. So those little fuckers were everywhere. But I have a coyote story, actually, since we're here.
Oh.
This was actually through COVID. It was this golf course that was kind of in the eastern San Diego hills. And it was me and two of my friends. They were in a cart together. I was by myself in a cart. They were ahead of me. And when it comes to me and golf, it's 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 shots are pretty good.
Okay.
The other 9.
I've seen you golf. That's a lie. You're better than that, but go ahead.
Yeah, that was a pitch and that was very small. It's okay. But it was 1 out of 10. So when I get that one, I chase that high for the rest of the time, right?
Yeah.
My friends are in front of me and I hit a beautiful shot and I hear them yelling because I'm thinking,
they're cheering for you.
They're cheering for me. I'm psyched as well. And I see them kind of like waving their arms. I'm like, yeah, man. And I hear one of my buddies, luckily he can project because they were like 75 yards ahead of me. They're like, dude, behind you. And I'm like, what? And I turn around and kid you not, maybe 4 feet behind me was a coyote. And I forgot what I said, but I practically shouted. I think I was like, oh my God, holy shit. And this little fucker, his head was down. He was creeping behind me because when I turned around, I saw him and that just stopped. Ooh. And I yelled, and I think it scared him. And then he like skinned off.
That's kind of scary.
That's like I've seen fucking hundreds of coyotes in my lifetime, but that was the one time that there was one with it like that close to me. I don't even know if he would have done anything, but it was just kind of like a funny, like I thought my buddies were psyched for me and they were just letting me know that a coyote was trying to nibble at my ankles.
Yeah. Well, and also too, this movie is no hate on coyotes. Like coyotes are very important to like the ecosystem.
Well, this whole movie was hate to coyotes. Let's be honest.
It was.
This did to coyotes what Jaws did to sharks.
I was thinking the same thing. But Kate Bosworth and Justin Long did come out with a really nice video about coyote conservation and just whatever. But I was going to say coyotes do also sound terrifying when they're in a group and they all make that general kind of, it's their version of like a howl. It's like a cackle almost.
It's so annoying.
It's so annoying, but it's like terrifying. But I also learned that it's just them like kind of like just recapping the day.
What's your name?
Tony.
Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel.
Anyways, back to the film.
What were your thoughts on the film? Because it was another movie of Justin Long, Miserable. In my opinion, was the perfect mix of horror / funny as fuck.
Yep.
Oh my God. It was so good.
It had so many good comedic moments.
It was literally like some of the characters were just the epitome of some, not all, some folks in LA.
Yes.
And it was just, oh my God, it was so good.
It played on a lot of stereotypes. I also love when a film can have comedy with a character and it doesn't feel intentional. Like their character is just funny the way they are, but then there's also characters that are meant to be funny in the film. And this had a blend of those characters, which I thought was really good. And I also liked that it was kind of like, I'm going to call it eco horror, like, with just, there really is so much going on with like global warming and like we've had a lot more wildfires and like that is affecting the wildlife. And it sort of got my mind even thinking like, oh shit, this was a very clever film. Even though coyotes are never going to be something to be like so terrified that you think you're going to be causing a home invasion at your place of residence.
They were sneaky little fuckers.
They were. It still like got your mind to think. You're like, oh shit. It made me think about my coyote story. I'm sure it probably made you think of yours. So I thought it was really effective in that way. And I think just like overall, I didn't take it too deeply because it is kind of comedic at the end of the day. The whole thing is a bit.
It knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I felt like it stayed true to that.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good time. Like I enjoyed
it. Was so fun.
I enjoyed it because it had such a ridiculous subject matter too. The whole time I'm like, where the fuck is this going?
Yeah. It was very unserious.
Yeah.
But it was set up unserious also.
Totally. You didn't have that expectation it was going to be some deep film.
Yeah. You can't expect it to be deep. You can't expect it to be this thought-provoking film, kind of like a lot of what Jaws was.
Totally.
But it was goofy from start to finish.
It was.
It never broke away from that, which is cool. Justin Long just did his
thing.
Iconic where he's just aloof the entire time. Nobody does it better.
Just a silly guy.
It was so good. But yeah, like the other characters, like their neighbors and like that whole aspect, it was really good. But what were your thoughts on the coyotes themselves?
I thought they were scary. As scary as they could be.
Yeah. It's a little tough because I know, especially, as more time has gone on, there's a lot less real animals in film.
I know. Yeah, that's true. They were obviously fake.
Yeah. It was just like, I know there's nothing harder than CGIing fur.
Yeah.
And I read that there was a mix between CGI, puppets, and I guess they use real coyotes in certain aspects. Probably in situations that wouldn't have put the coyotes in danger.
Yeah, totally.
But it was just a lot of I felt like that we would just pan to a coyote doing something else and pan to a different coyote doing the same thing. And it was like, I felt like we just kept seeing the same types of shots of the coyotes. But at the same time, I don't know if are there people that have trained coyotes anywhere? I doubt it.
No idea. Yeah, that's a good question. I personally thought that they showed the coyotes almost a little too much.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I almost felt like maybe some of the mystery of them would have been a little bit better.
Totally.
And apparently coyotes are sneaky little fuckers that can break into your house.
Yep, I was gonna say one of the things that I actually liked about this film a lot is that I love a good like home invasion where it sort of turns your
Love a good home invasion.
Sorry. Well, do not invade my home, please. But I like survival home invasion horror where it kind of turns like your familiar spaces, like your home, your yard, your car, whatever, into like a battleground. I think it's so fun. And I think that Coyotes really delivers to that point.
The comedy hit at all the right moments. There really wasn't any downtime.
No, totally. It was very like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it started kind of hot and it kind of just really just rolled with the punches. We didn't do a lot of setup. I felt like we got the backstory on some of our characters throughout, which is really nice, rather than doing the whole setup in the beginning. I don't know. I liked it. It was fun. Fun is the word I'll use on this.
Can I tell you one thing I didn't like about it, and then I'd love your thoughts? I didn't love the ending. Don't get me wrong. I loved the ending because of how cute it was.
Yeah, I agree.
But I did not like it for the story. I just think they could have done something cooler. Like maybe we find out that these coyotes are actually just rabid and maybe there's just like a few of them that are rabid and you just get rid of them or whatever. Well, like and then game over.
Comparing to Jaws again, there was no motive.
Yeah.
It was just a animal that thought killing was fun. And we could have kept that. But, they felt as though they had to give an explanation. And I don't think an explanation is always warranted.
Totally. That's what I was just going to say.
I just said in Black Phone, an explanation would have been warranted. But that's because we were talking about human beings. Yeah. It's all so different. I don't know why. No, I know I'm being very hypocritical right now. But there was something about it where I felt like they felt like they had to explain. I'm like, you really didn't.
No. Or if you needed to, like, it could have been a little bit more vague. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fucking adorable, and I loved that about it. But that to me, I was kind of like, oh man, like we built up so much, and like that's how we're gonna end it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. But regardless, start to finish though, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I left satisfied. I didn't expect much. Knowing the subject matter, I was just psyched that it was Justin Long and Kate Bosworth, and that was enough. That was totally enough for me.
Yeah,
but because have they ever been in anything together?
Yes, they have.
Okay,
yeah.
It was just nice seeing them acting together too. I felt like that was a lot of fun.
I believe they met on a movie set.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I think they worked on a movie together and met on the movie set.
But it was not. Yeah, it was nice seeing them. They kind of like what we saw together. It's nice that seeing that real life chemistry, and I saw that as well here.
Totally.
But no, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, overall, I think it was really different. Which, god damn it, as much as I love a good horror trope, I fucking love seeing something that is original and that is just different. Even though you could tie a few things to maybe some previous horror films or different inspirations here and there, like it really was so kind of outlandish. Like, oh, we're going to have a coyote horror movie. Cool. Love that.
Definitely written by someone in LA.
Yes.
For sure.
And I loved that about it. Yeah. Because they played on like the LA tropes, which was kind of cool. And I feel like the fact that it wasn't just about the coyotes, but it was also sort of about the environment being the antagonist as well to this whole thing, or at least being sort of like there in the background as like a supporting plot driver, I really enjoyed a ton. And I'm not going to lie, as a Southern Californian, I was like, oh shit, I hope some coyotes don't try to break into our house. Hopefully Cowboy would take them all down. He
wouldn't do a damn thing.
No, he is a Western wrangling outlaw of a man.
He can't attack the livestock.
Yeah, no, he actually would be useless. But yeah, anyways, I think that was super fun, especially if you guys are fans of Justin Long, which I know a lot of you that listen to this podcast are. You guys are right there with us as our Scream King. We love him. But yeah, I think overall, for all three of these films, we say go see them.
Yeah.
Go see them. Go make up your own thoughts about them, form your own opinions. But we're happy that we're able to have this conversation today and kind of let you guys know what our thoughts are.
Totally.
I can't wait to do some longer form reviews, especially having Allie on too. I would love to see Allie's thoughts on not only Bone Lake, but Coyotes. Mm-hmm. I think she would actually really like Black Phone too, but who knows? Allie also shits on everything. So that's why we make a great team. But that wraps up our Fresh Fright, you guys. I hope that you loved it. If you are not following us already, please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you are listening. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, all the things at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. And a reminder, guys, that we have launched merch. So you can find all of our merch exclusively at shop.spookychickspod.com. And with that, producer, do you want to take us out?
I didn't even think of anything. Let's say like one thing from each one. No, that's too many.
I was going to say, like, the grabber's hot. Watch your back around coyotes.
Wait. I was going to say ice skating on Boner Lake with the grabber.
Ooh.
I was like, maybe something like, always watch your back. No. Always check your six for rabid coyotes.
Ooh, yeah.
But there's nothing more fun than ice skating with the grabber on Boner Lake. And stay spooky, fuckers.
Yeah.